You're listening to Until They Sleep, a podcast where two parents finally get to sit down and discuss all the different things that run through their heads every day because their four kids are finally asleep. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Shantelle.
And I'm...
Who are you? You still haven't decided on a name?
I don't know. I am...
Who are we really ever?
Oskar.
You're going to go by Oskar?
I'm going to go by Oskar.
Are you sure?
By the end of it, well, maybe I can be Daniel for you guys.
Why? We started out with Daniel. Why are you going to go to Oskar now?
I feel like being an asshole.
Oh, great. Well, this is going to be fun. Yes. So he has two personalities, Oskar and Daniel. I only knew Daniel when I met him. I didn't know Oskar, and I don't like Oskar, but I love Daniel. So this is going to be fun.
Daniel's dead.
Yeah, he tells me Daniel died. But
no, I'm fine with Daniel, but it's just I just noticed that like the last time I went out, Daniel's like easily forgettable because there's so many damn Daniels. And whenever I say Oskar and they see my name, it's like, oh, I'll remember that. Or maybe because they're like, oh, you're a Grouch. And so Oskar the Grouch. There you go.
Yeah, Oskar the Grouch. Yes. Oskar with a K.
Yeah, that's why people remember it easier. And, you know, people, well, it's funny, right? So for friends and family, it's always Daniel.
Yes.
For acquaintances,
it's Oskar,
and
right?
coworkers. And coworkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at work and everything, it's always by your first name.
Yeah, unless I introduce you, which I always introduce you as Daniel.
Yeah. So, but, you know, most people that know me, like, they've met me through work. So then automatically they go by Oskar.
They call you Oskar. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's always funny because when I talk about, like, conversations that you and me have, and when you get frustrated, it's like, oh, Daniel. And they're like,
who's Daniel? Why are you calling him Daniel?
And I'm like, oh, that's me. Like, my mom, my dad, and, you know,
it's his middle name.
It's my middle name. I love it. I was named after my uncle, my dad's little brother. And that's where that name Daniel comes from. It's not biblical, like some people won't probably think it is, but I'm actually named after two of my dad's favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where my name's come from.
Cousin, right?
Yeah, Oskar was one of his cousins that served during Vietnam, and Daniel,
his little brother.
Yeah, Daniel's his little brother.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I got named after some girl my dad liked in Minnesota, I think, or Michigan or something like that. Well,
you know, sometimes it happens like that.
That's the story I got.
So yeah.
So we are drinking some wine tonight. We don't normally drink anymore these days, but I bought a bottle. Actually bought it as a present.
Yeah, for her friend that she never gets to see.
I never get to see her, so we are going to drink it, and I will just buy another when I finally make it over there.
Notable mention here, Irene. This one's for you.
Yes, Irene, we're gonna have a drink for you.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
Yeah, guys, let me know. Let me know what's better for you guys, Oskar or Daniel. I mean, I love Daniel.
I don't know that people really care what you go by, as long as they know it's you.
Yeah, I did when I was in the military and I got out. I met a couple of people on, like I said, work, and they started calling me Oz or Ozzy, and I kind of enjoyed that one. And to this day, you know, like we have a mutual friend. He always hears him call me Oz.
In Arizona.
Ozzy, yeah.
So that's a funny story.
Yeah. For another time, maybe.
Maybe another time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Say that one for another time.
Yeah.
But so yeah, let's catch up. What's going on? What did I miss this week? What's going on? I mean, I know we have some news about some stuff that happened. Drastic changes to the family, to the house.
Oh, well, the biggest change to the house was that the puppy we were fostering, he left on Wednesday, more like he was delivered elsewhere on Wednesday. I took the, almost 3-hour drive to Santa Clarita to drop him off at my brother's, who's a dog trainer. And he was going to find him his forever home. That's the goal anyways.
Yeah, that was
I don't know.
Once it came down to like it was time for him to leave and you were talking about it, it was getting a little bit hard. I know I wasn't really close to the puppy as much as like I wish I could have been, but I don't know how people foster.
Yeah, we
It's a
talked
tough
about
one.
that. And it's true because I mean, I think we all kind of kept our distance from him and we didn't give him as much love as he probably deserved because we didn't want to get attached.
Yeah, but I mean, he got love.
Oh, he got
Let's
love.
not
Yeah,
just
yeah. He
pretend
got
like he got
played.
and then I mean, to the point where even the other ones would get jealous and they wanted some love too. You know, like, oh, what? Don't share it just with him because he's a baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
He
yeah,
got
I mean,
extra food and
yeah,
extra
him
treats.
leaving. I mean, the house is different.
It's so
Definitely, it feels
quiet.
like it's quiet. It's more.
The big dogs were bored.
Yeah, but I've noticed that our puppy is acting a little
The
rebellious
1-year-old.
again. Yeah, so he's doing things that he hadn't done in a while, jumping fences and challenging.
Yeah, not listening.
Yeah, not listening. So I don't know if that's a form of like saying bring my buddy back.
Yeah. And I know you at one point texted me like, never mind, I changed my mind. Come back home.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's such a cutie. I mean, he was losing that baby fur, and he kind of
He's
looked
starting
like
to lean out.
yeah. He had
yeah.
like that that German Shepherd face, but he looked like a coyote to me. I
He
thought that
did
was
look like a
cute.
little coyote.
Yeah.
Little coyote with a raccoon
Oh my
face.
goodness! So real quick, I'm sorry. So I ate a pepper a little while ago, and I just rubbed my nose, and my nose is on fire right now.
Okay, so do
And
you want to take a minute?
No, and I wash my hands really good. Apparently
Not good enough.
Apparently not. I mean, that was a good pepper though. I mean, that was a good one. But yeah, it feels like I put Vicks on my nose.
Oh no, that's horrible.
But yeah. So aside from that, what else did we? Oh, our son had a concert.
Yes, our high schooler on Tuesday had a spring festival, so he's in choir and concert choir.
Oh my god, my nose is burning.
No,
No, it's alright. Keep going.
he's in concert choir.
Make it happen.
So you took the day off so you could join me and go watch him. And
Yeah, mini date.
yeah,
you and
mini
me.
date. Yeah,
We went to a.
we went to a concert.
We went to a
We
concert.
went to a concert, and Grandma watched the others, so we could go on our own. And then, as usual, after the concerts, we usually go out to dinner with our kids. But this time it was just the one, so it was nice, just the three of us. It hasn't been just the three of us in a long time.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, we never get.
We never get alone time with him.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, there's been, I think, one other time in the last year, but it's not frequent. Not like, we have way more time with the others where we do things.
No, he's a teenager now too, so he wants to be by himself.
Yeah, I don't know.
But on that note, there's this American diner, and service was horrible.
We've had, actually, we never used to eat at this place just because, it's just something that we just didn't do because we did too much of it in our youth. But we decided last year, I think after one time we got out of SeaWorld pretty late. We're like, oh, well, what's still open? And we're like, oh, this diner's still open. Let's go eat there. We haven't eaten there in years. And it was so good. So maybe it's just the fact that we hadn't eaten there in such a long time. Maybe it just was a really lucky night. We got a good cook. But everyone enjoyed their meal tremendously. And then we went to another event several months later and again ended up at this place at like 1 a.m. with some friends we had made, and same thing. Thoroughly enjoyed our meal. And there's been a couple other times we've gone since, and we've usually enjoyed it, but that night it was so bad. So bad.
It was horrible.
And we do have to blame it on the cook. I mean, ultimately.
Well, it always happens like that.
Yeah.
You go to places and it's great, and then you change the cook, and
you forget
it's
about
never
it.
the same. You don't want to eat
Oh,
there no
remember
more. So it's
that restaurant in Chula Vista?
Yeah, I remember that Peruvian one.
It was, there used to be, I don't remember the name of it,
Mexican
but
one?
it was like Peruvian/Mexican food. It was in Chula Vista
It was off Palomar.
off of Palomar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. We went there and it was
Palomar? Yeah.
so good. I mean, he wanted Mexican, I wanted Peruvian.
But I ended up having the Peruvian. That's
Yeah.
the first time I had that Peruvian ceviche.
The Peruvian ceviche, and it was so
Yeah,
good.
it was really good.
And we went back,
And it became all Mexicans trying
and
to
it
cook
was
Peruvian
just
food.
Mexican. Yes, it was
And it's not the same.
horrible.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
I mean, it was good, but it
Well,
didn't
for me,
taste.
it was
It didn't taste like the Peruvian stuff.
It had
Like,
no
not like-
Peruvian flavoring whatsoever.
it
it just
became-
tasted like plain.
So that makes me wonder, right? So like, sometimes you go to like to Italian restaurants or Chinese food or whatever not, but you look at the back and all the cooks are Mexican
Okay,
or
yeah, yes,
or Hispanic.
yes,
So how really authentic is it?
yeah, I get it.
Because, I mean, we have a different flavor. Like we
It's
season
true.
stuff different.
It's
So
true. But I mean, they're
authentic can it
supposed to be following recipes, I imagine, for a
Yeah,
certain flavor. I mean, for a certain
imagine,
cuisine,
yeah.
right?
But I mean, then again, we went to another Peruvian place later on, and there were Peruvians, and I mean, you went off. Like you had you even wrote them a horrible review.
Yeah, that was actually here locally, and I think it's the fact that I was pregnant.
No,
At the time?
the food was garbage. Like,
Well,
it
was
you
another
were right.
place. It was another place that was also Peruvian Mexican, but this was here more locally where we are now. And I wrote a scathing review online because it was the worst example of Peruvian food I have ever had in my life.
But you had a lot of people telling you, "Oh, we went to this Peruvian place. It's so good."
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
go
why we
try
went
it,
there. And
blah,
I'm like,
blah.
you guys must not know what good Peruvian food tastes like, which is typical, right? Because these were non-Peruvian people.
Yeah.
So
No, it happens. I mean, but yeah, I mean, even your brother like one time invited us, the one that you went to see, and he had like pick up to go Peruvian food, and it was good. It was pretty good.
yeah, and it's hard to find Peruvian food, good Peruvian food. Period.
Yeah, I mean, we found a couple of places in San Diego when we lived
San
down there,
Diego had
but then they
several.
would disappear, you know,
Yeah.
because it wasn't.
Except that one in, was it Claremont Mesa?
No, that one disappeared. It switched
did?
owners, and it was
Oh,
that's why we stopped going. It changed. The flavor was not the same.
Oh man, I feel like a chupa
The guy
de
was from
camarón
Lima.
right now.
I remember. So what?
Chupa de camarón.
You always say that.
It sounds so good right
You
now.
always say that. Got your chupe and
No, I don't want that. Okay, well, let's see. Back to what happened this week. So it was just the concert on Tuesday, and then taking the puppy up to Santa
Wednesday.
Clarita on Wednesday. That was an all-day thing. It took me almost 3 hours to get home. Also,
Traffic. Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
There's a reason I don't leave our area.
I hate LA. I hate LA for that reason alone. I hate that traffic.
And it would have taken me over 4 hours if I would have gone through LA.
Nah,
I went around the back,
forget about
and
that.
it was bad.
Forget about it.
in the middle of the week.
It's just...
Well, and then during the week, my teen, I don't even know how this conversation came up, but he's like, Mom, I don't want to have kids. And I told him, well, you know what? I get it. I was that age. You know, when I was your age, I didn't want kids either.
I mean,
but
that's good.
It
I mean,
changes.
we don't have to worry about babies having babies.
Yeah,
like, that's a
that's
good
true.
thing.
But I told him, that's fine. You might change your mind when you're older. I changed my mind, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. And I'm pretty sure I never felt like that. I think I always thought I wanted kids, like at least a kid in my life. I mean, I figured it one day. Why not? Why not have a kid? I never just said I don't want to have kids. I never thought that. I actually thought like, oh, it would be nice.
No, when I was little, I was, I had my dolls, and I was such a good mommy to my dolls, and I thought I wanted to have
You?
Yeah.
No way.
Can you believe it? But once I hit my teen years, I didn't. Nope. No, thank you. Not interested. So that's what I told him. I go, it's okay. You can feel like that now, but I'm just letting you know you might change your mind when you're older. And then somehow that got into the conversation of, how I've noticed in the circle of people that I've met over the years that the older people get, the less likely they are to want to have kids, and the less patience they have for small children.
Well, yeah, you get cranky when you get old.
I guess
Why
so,
would
but
you
like
want
even
kids?
even people in their 30s.
Well, I don't know, because they're selfish. Like,
Well, and it's funny because
you go all those years without having any kids. So probably you're probably like, no, I'm still enjoying myself. I still want to travel. I still want to do this, and you're just thinking about yourself. And then when you finally, or I'm not at the point in the career where I want to be, or financially. But if you think about it, we were never gonna be there. Like,
it's true.
You never,
We've had that discussion
we're
before.
never gonna get there. Like where your mind is, where you think you're supposed to be financially or in career wise, like you'll never get there. And then eventually, when you say, "Oh, well, maybe I'm there," it's too late. You're already 54, 55. You know, I mean, yeah, you can probably still have kids, but
Well,
what
not
you,
for women.
yeah, but then, well, how you just cut your lifespan, or you're probably gonna die, or you're probably gonna have twins or quadruplets or whatever
Well,
because
that's
of all
because
the
of fertility drugs.
exactly.
Though. So it's funny because my son telling me this made me research. So I ended up going on. I found an article on BuzzFeed.com, and it's titled "People Who Decided Not to Have Kids Are Sharing All the Reasons They Don't Regret It." And this is an article from October of 2022, and it's a list of 45 reasons or people, I guess, who responded. And they literally are almost all the same answer. And what do you think that answer was?
They like being single.
Yeah, that literally is it. Most of them were like, here's one that said too old to start. Another one said that they like their own space and never wanting to be that person that annoys others when they go shopping by their kid throwing tantrums. I was like, okay.
Well, that's just crappy parents.
Can't give up being able to get up and leave whenever they want. It's hard enough to care for myself, and I value my freedom too much to be limited. I prefer my animals.
Of course.
Another person, there were a couple that said medical trauma. Others said that they grew up in with toxic, immature parents, and they didn't want to continue the cycle. And that, of course, they also enjoy their sleep. That they enjoy their bank account and being able to travel uninterrupted, spontaneous drives. Another person said, I have no patience and I have a really bad temper. Another person said that they have a teenage stepchild, but that they can't imagine having their own child because their stepchild life is perfect the way it is. A couple of people cited the cost of having kids as being a reason. Another person said you should only have kids if you really want them because they know lots of people who regret having their kids. Oh. And so I was like, okay. Another person said the world is a dumpster fire and I don't want to bring kids into this, especially girls. Someone says they just don't want to have any regrets. Somebody said that they love their body the way it is and they don't want to mess up their body.
They don't want to have any regrets, but when they're like old and all by themselves in the house dying, they're like, oh, I wish I would have had kids.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's see, another person, and this one I get, too much disease on both sides of their family. Like
Shit,
her
are we
and her
go
husband.
Through all 45
No. That's it. So I mean, but that's the.
It just sounds like excuses. Like they're selfish excuses to me.
And that's what I was trying to tell my son is that I've learned. I get that there's people in the world who can't have kids.
If they're that weak-minded and they're just like full of bullshit excuses like that for not having good. I mean, we don't need more people like that in the world.
Well,
by all means.
And that's what I'm trying to explain to our son, the fact that, okay, I get that you feel that way right now because you're a teenager, right? Like your independence and your freedom is most important to you.
I get it for him because he's the first of four.
Yeah.
He's the oldest.
And I was too.
And he's helped out and he helps out with it.
His siblings. Mm-hmm.
So then in his mind is like, well, you know, I've been dealing with these three. I just want to enjoy my freedom once I get out of here. And I
completely understand that at his age, but I told him, I said, as you get older, you might change your mind. So just he has
to give me grandkids. There's no better or if. He has to give me a grandkid.
But you still have another son and you have daughters.
Exactly. But no. I need the boys to give me grandchildren.
Your genetics still live on through your daughters, even if both your sons didn't get married.
But my name doesn't.
Well, I mean, they could hyphenate it. And then your name. Why not?
Because those grandkids are not going to be hyphenating 4 last names until their or 3 last names until their kids.
But your genetics still survive.
That doesn't matter. What did the guy say in the House of Dragons?
Which one?
That you know.
Okay.
Was it history books don't remember DNA? They remember names.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's how you feel.
That's how I feel. That's how I was raised to be.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the reason why my sperm donor's family doesn't speak to me is because of the family name.
It's true.
I took the real family name. I have the real family name, and they all have an issue with it. Mm-hmm. And they have the borrowed stolen last name of something else. I don't know. That's just the type of person that I am. I believe I was raised by my sperm donor to believe that our blood, our name, is important and it's great and it has a purpose, and it lives on, and our ancestors and what they did and everything lives on. I mean, the man said, "I don't donate blood because of my blood." You know, like my blood shouldn't be in other people's if they're not related to me.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You know, it's our blind. Like my blood
like
is
it's sacred.
Yes. You know,
And he
he fathered a whole bunch of kids probably in the world, so it doesn't matter. But he's following his ancestors' footsteps. I mean, he's fathering children everywhere, right?
It's true.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I have my daughters, and you know, like you said, part of me is gonna live on, but the last name is gonna come to an end. And if I sacrifice so much to keep my family name, it will suck for it to come to an end.
Okay. I mean, I see your point of view, but still, it's like your genetics will still live on. I get it, and they could still hyphenate it. There's people who give their kids both names.
Yeah, no, in the Hispanic community, we do that. You get your mom's and you get your dad's last name.
Yeah.
I mean, but then after that, your children, you know, the mother's last name gets dropped and they get the dad's, and so forth and so forth and so forth, right?
Well, I mean, you won't be around by then for it to matter. Will you still care from wherever you are in spirit world?
Maybe my kids would think about it subconsciously and be like, "Oh, my dad's probably
he's rolling in his grave." So that was, you know, it was just an interesting topic that he brought up in the car, and I was just trying to make him understand that, you know, yeah, that's fine for you to feel that way right now. You're only 14.
I didn't grow up with a family. Like, I have family, but I don't have them, and my kids are growing up without them. So it's like part of my dream that when I get older, that my house will be full of my family, like my children, my children's children,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then because our holidays, our birthdays are pretty empty, it's just us.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, one day, it'll be a big happy family. I have friends that have a lot of siblings, a lot of nephews, and their birthdays and the, you know, Christmases and whatever. It's like a big old, kind of like a family reunion and great memories and great things. You know, I have a friend that he told me that every Thanksgiving they have like a family game, you know, be it basketball or a football game. You know?
That's fun.
And I look forward for that. You know, I might not be able to play anymore. You know, I'll be the slowest guy in the field.
Or in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but...
Oh, no, you got to take care of yourself so that doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Oh, well, anyway, so, I mean...
I want grandkids.
I know you want grandkids, but, I mean, that's where he's at right now, and that's perfectly fine. So, I sometimes think he's
Especially now, I have to thank you to 23andMe, not a sponsor. You know, finding out about this royal blood that runs through me.
Oh, great. You're just the royal blood of bastards, you mean?
It doesn't matter. We'll breed them out.
So I guess according to his 23andMe, one of his ancestors is...
It's Neil of the Nine Hostages.
Neil of the Nine Hostages. But the history is that he fathered many, 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 many children from all around the world to kind of ensure his legacy. So you are of the lineage of bastards.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, breed them out. You know, he had 9 hostages when he took over the northern part of Ireland, and you know, fathered some children, descendants.
He fathered many descendants.
So yeah,
he's very proud of this for some reason. Is it because he was a Viking?
Yeah,
a Viking king.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I mean, it explains why we're such, you know, horrible
jerks.
people.
I was to say because you're such jerks. Anyways, the point being that our son, you know, I changed my mind as I got older, and you know, they say that for women the clock ticks, and that's what makes them change their mind. But for guys, there's no clock.
So. No, it's true. My stepmom, I think her dad was like 80s when he had
Oh
twins.
my God.
Yeah, and my uncles were cool. I met them and they were awesome, dude. But yeah, my grandpa, well, yeah, he's still my grandpa. Yeah, he was like 82, I think, when he had the twins.
Oh my goodness. So, horny old men.
It's okay, we die, babe.
That's why men marry younger.
No, they marry younger because they're like, I need somebody to change my diaper.
That isn't going to fall apart with me.
Yeah, I need somebody to take care of me. And it was like kind of old people getting married together. Hey, you want to die together? You know, I'm kind of lonely.
Yeah.
That's what happens to those that don't have kids or anything else
Yeah.
going on. It's like, oh, I just need a companion for my last couple of years on this earth.
Yeah. It's not even about love anymore at that point.
Nah.
It's just to not be alone.
Even when there's a young person, it's got to be like a business transaction right there. And
Yeah,
it's
because
like,
they're going to get whatever. If they have money, they're going to get that money, right? They're going to get that
especially if they
inheritance.
don't have anybody to leave it behind to.
Yeah.
You know? But okay, so that's interesting. So that our son's saying that he doesn't want to be a parent, let you down to all this research. What else you got? I mean,
you're looking at all my notes.
Yeah, I see. You've been trying to.
We also, you and I talked about hereditary baldness and color deficiency, right?
That's very sensitive subject right there.
Yeah, but I did some research on it.
Okay, well,
Okay. So
educate me while I take another sip of this wine. That is actually pretty enjoyable. It was like I'm drinking sangria here.
yeah, it's really good. There's a reason we used to drink this wine once upon a time. So I actually didn't get to finish researching this because I got sidetracked by the kids, but I did research the baldness gene on forhims.com. It says myth busting the baldness gene, and this is an article from September of 2021. And it basically says that male pattern baldness is considered, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, androgenetic alopecia. It is carried on the X chromosome, but that doesn't necessarily mean it just comes from the mother. It can also be carried from the father's X chromosome to his daughters, right? So if the father also has male pattern baldness on his side of the family, then he will also pass on that gene to his daughters, who will then pass it on to her sons. So it's like a double whammy if both the father and mother have this, right?
Real quick, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I just read something real quick about Neo the Nine Hostages. He has 3 million Irish descendants in the world now. He is credibly the most fertile Irish warlord.
And you're so proud of this.
So we all might be cousins some way, shape, or form if your last names are like O'Neill, and I'll look up who else are.
Yeah, there was a lot of them, the last names. Okay, so basically it is carried on the maternal side, but it's not just the mom's fault. It's also the dad's fault from his mom. And then that there are other things that can cause male pattern baldness, and also for women. Cancer medication, right? Of course, the therapy, right? It's going to make you bald. Any autoimmune diseases such as lupus, heart disease, or Hashimoto's. Stress. And for women, menopause is a big factor for losing their hair. They said chemically, hereditary loss is caused by DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone, which all men make. And it says the DHT shrinks and destroys the hair follicles, leading to hair loss. It cannot be prevented, but with certain health life changes, it can be slowed down. There's also a medication called finasteride, which is a generic form of Propecia. And there's also Rogaine, and there's some therapeutic things that they're still working or studying, that they're not sure what the effectiveness is. But there are ways to slow it down, but there's no way to stop it because it is genetic.
No, that's crazy. So I know, I heard or I read, I can't remember, but I know that it says that Rogaine is not recommended for women to take. I don't know what's in it.
I did not.
No, I'm going to have to look that up.
I didn't research the chemicals in it.
Yeah, I had heard that or read it. I'm pretty sure I read that one.
Because I think I have an aunt or someone who uses Rogaine.
No, they're not supposed
and she's
to.
always used it. And she has beautiful hair.
I find it funny that you say menopause because I figured, in a way, it kind of makes sense because of all the hormone imbalance going on in a woman's body when they're
Yeah.
going through menopause.
Which,
But to cause like the hair loss.
well, that actually kind of reminds me of the whole thyroid and iodine commentary that I was making. And I misspoke when I said that the thyroid doesn't control like testosterone and things like that, because the thyroid controls all hormones. That includes testosterone and estrogen, which are necessary for the distinction between being a male and a female, right? So again, if your thyroid is messed up, then you're going to have a depletion of those. And naturally with age, we do deplete, right? But they were saying that, you can slow it down.
So here's my thing with this whole, and I know why you're probably like bringing it up and stuff, because I've been going through this debate for the last.
Well, we were talking about it.
Yeah,
That's why I
but
bring it up.
for me, it's I was always really, really proud of my beautiful, thick, long, black, wavy,
Curly. You had
curly
beautiful
hair.
curly hair. Yeah.
So
Now,
I was kind of like Uncle Jesse, growing up.
he was
when I
very, very proud of his hair.
Yeah. I was like Elvis reincarnated in a way for when it came to my hair. But I have noticed that throughout the years, my hairline's changing, and I'm getting that receding hairline. And I'm very paranoid about it because my whole life I grew up seeing men that cannot accept the fact that they're going bald. And they look horrible. They honestly, I feel bad for them. It's like that old dude with the long hair or the dreads,
The long on the back.
and they're trying to hang on to their youth, or that old dude that still goes to the clubs or is trying to hang out with the nephews, and you're like, dude, you're old. Like you shouldn't be here anymore. It's like you just look like a creeper, and that's how kind of like I see it. So I always said, if that ever happens to me,
Or you start losing your hair.
I'm gonna shave my head because I don't want to look like that. I don't want, I don't want people laughing at me.
Because you do it to other people.
Yes, I did it my whole life. Okay, I did it. I was like, oh, look at Cocolizo, like, oh, look at Krusty the Clown over here. I did it, but it's just those people that like are not willing to accept it, and so accept it, and go on with it. But then it's so common now. I see so many people, and I'm like, their hair is way worse than mine. And it's funny because even when I'm watching a movie and I see some actors, I was like, dang, just shave your head, bro. like that's a comb. That's a comb over.
Let it go.
Yeah. I was like, but that kind of worked pretty good. I wouldn't have caught it if you didn't do that, So I was like, man, maybe I should do that too. I mean, I shave my head almost every other year, and I'm fine, So I kind of already know what I'm gonna look like.
Yeah. No, and it's fine. Well, the thing is, right, for a while I didn't like you with your head bald. Right, because you just reminded me of a cholo.
Yeah.
And so I was not okay with that. I was like, and then you didn't help the situation because you would like go into character and just make me more bothered.
I remember when we first moved in together, and I told you if I can shave my head when I was going to shave my head to donate it.
Yeah,
Remember,
so his
Lots of
hair
Love.
was so pretty and long. Yeah, he would donate his hair.
Yeah, so I I used to donate my hair to Lots of Love. But I asked her, and she said, well, whenever you go bald, I'll divorce you.
Just like you told me, whenever my stomach is bigger than my boobs, you divorce me too. And I've already, done that at least 4 times.
Yeah, because we had my babies in there.
And it hasn't quite gone right back the way it was supposed to. So, and you're still here.
So this is love. Yeah, so I am in that point where I'm like, yeah, I can see I can see part of my skull, so maybe I should just shave my head. But every time the clippers come out, the girls go crazy, the boys come in running, and it's either, don't shave your head, or I hear don't shave your beard. And there are times when I just feel like a bum. I just want to be clean. So Yeah, that's my point of view on that. Sorry, I rambled on.
It's okay. Well, but I mean, that's why I'm talking about this, right? It's just, you can either accept it, stop rubbing your eyes with the freaking fingers full of jalapeno, whatever,
I
serrano.
forgot. Oh my goodness.
It was the fact that, we've been talking about this, and you either will just shave your head and accept it, and it is what it is, or you keep trying to grow it out, shave the sides, do your mohawk, whatever you're going to do, but just, you do this like every few months. Like you'll go bald, and then you'll grow it out, and then you'll be like, no, I need to cut it. And then you're like, no, I'm going to let it grow out. And then we're talking about it. And then eventually you'll get tired and you'll shave again. But it's just like a cycle for like the last couple of years.
It doesn't matter. No matter what I do, I look good. I mean, I can grow it out. I can, do my little wannabe pompadour. I can do my, my undercut. I can do my mohawk, I can shave it. It doesn't matter. I'll make it look good. Bottom line. Don't be a hater.
I'm not being a hater. I mean, I feel like I've also started losing my hair. I mean, I'm not in menopause yet, but the genetics on my side of the family is that even the women, as they get older, their hair starts to thin, right? And I think right now for me, it's not so much my diet, because I think we eat pretty healthy, but it's more my stress levels. So.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, 4 kids, that's stressful.
I mean, there's lots of things.
Me as a husband, that's stressful.
That's stressful. Well, the other side of it was, so our son, a couple weeks ago, he attended a aviation explorers group, and our 14-year-old, and he was concerned about attending this because he's color deficient. And so right. I ended up, I guess both boys were tested several years ago in school, and they both came out that they were color deficient. So my father was also color deficient, is color deficient. But I tested the boys the other day on an app I found online, and they both actually don't see, it's just the color red. And I don't know, I don't remember, I didn't write down what the term is for that, but it's light shades of red or pinks that they don't see, or super light shades of purple. And my 14-year-old really light shades of green.
So in guy language, that means, yeah, you're blind, because we're not like shades of red. Red is red. Anything that's close to it is red.
Well, that goes back to like genetics, like the reason women see a bigger spectrum of color than men. So, but for my boys...
Yeah, because you guys want to find another reason to argue.
That's not why. Yeah. It was because...
Oh, look at that blue one. That's not blue. That's aqua.
It was because of during evolution. When we were evolving, women had to figure out, okay, berries... different shades of berries, different shades of plants.
Remember the royal blue argument?
Oh, yes.
It's purple.
It's royal blue.
It's purple.
Yes. But, I mean, evolutionarily, women evolved to be able to see a broader spectrum of color.
Yeah.
Men only had to gather. Yeah, because women did the gathering.
Men were the hunters.
Men were the hunters.
Were the gatherers.
But men have better depth perception than women for the same reason, because men were hunting and had to be able to throw that spear, whereas women didn't necessarily have to develop that. So I think it's fascinating.
I mean, there were men that did gather people. I mean, I don't want to sound sexist, and there were women that went on the hunt. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, I'm sure in different cultures. But the men that
were gatherers, we call them bad hunters. This is how vegans were born. I can't catch that damn mammoth. I guess I'll eat this leaf.
Yeah. Versus starving like a wolf. Well, what dogs would eat roots and leaves too, right? If they couldn't find anything else to eat.
Yeah, they're like, oh, look at that. That guy ate that leaf. Let me see if I can eat it too.
And not die from eating it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, our boys are color deficient. One is more color deficient than the other. And yes, again, both of these, this is also carried on the X chromosome from mother or father.
Yeah, I always told you it's your fault. I mean,
Yes.
I've never.
I know, and my grandma got blamed for my dad's color deficiency, but my
this
dad's is way worse.
This was important information you withheld from me before
Oh
our
yes,
marriage.
I
Okay?
mean,
you should have told me this before.
I think
we
you
were
have
married.
more severe medical conditions on your side of the family that I should have, been wary of.
No. First of all, no.
Our family has no other medical condition. That's it.
Sure.
So this was some of the things we talked about this week, and some of the things I looked up.
What else you got for me? You did just say something the other day to me that I was getting kind of like not worked up about it, but I was kind of like, no, that's not right, because you were saying something about communism, like moms are like communist and fathers are like.
I said capitalist and socialist, not capitalist and communist. But I mean, I guess technically they're the same thing. So my brothers and I, we all talk about political stuff, and we don't hate each other at the end of the day, which is why we do it. So I can't do political with you. You get super angry. But with my brother.
This is the reason why you don't want to record. Because people can't see how I'm looking at you. Right now.
Well, okay. So it was the idea that was mentioned to me was that, and this isn't something that was like specifically heard on a, YouTube video or TED Talk or something like that. It's kind of like a culmination of information and a general observational question where my brother posed a question to me like, could we say that a paternal figure is more like a capitalist and a maternal figure is more like a socialist? And I might have this a little wrong because I didn't take any notes when he was telling me this, and we did only talk about it one time. But again, this is just like a general conversation. It wasn't like we weren't like agreeing on one thing or the other. It was more like just, could it be seen that way? And if so, why? So I think the idea behind it was that the patriarchy has a different level of expectation from their children. And this is as it relates to the household, to your family, to your two parents with their children, right? So the patriarchy in the family is going to expect certain things that will create success. The idea is that they're instilling this idea of hard work and being able to succeed in life so that you can provide for your family, right? Whereas mothers, or the matriarchy, is instilling a sense of camaraderie. Everyone is equal and everything is fair, right? And the very most basic idea, right, isn't that the difference between capitalism and socialism is that capitalists believe in free trade and that you succeed in life by being able to grow and learn and make money. Whereas socialism is more about everything has to be fair and everyone is equal. And I dictate, the matriarchy is basically dictating how everything functions in the household, which would be like the one government that dictates what you can and can't do, right? Versus free will.
Okay.
This is the idea. And it was just a question. Could it be seen that way?
No.
Okay, why?
Because this is not either capitalism or communism in this household.
Gosh darn it. It's socialism. I'm not talking about communism. I know there's a really slight difference, but it's socialism.
Okay, so real quick, in case anybody's wondering, okay, capitalism, for dictionaries, is an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit. Capitalism, it says, is a political philosophy and movement encompassing a range of economic and social systems which are characterized by social ownerships.
So, and that was what the question was about. So, okay, so what is, I guess, historically, what has been a mother's role in the household, right? She's the one who instills religion, right? She's the one who, or I guess belief structure, okay, I shouldn't say religion only, but she's the one who instills a sense of something greater than yourself, right? Okay. She instills the faith in the household. She instills a sense of we are all equal here, and we are going to share, and it's one for all, type of thing.
Okay.
And she's the one who sets down the rules. This is what you have to do, and this is how you're going to earn it, and no one is above the other. It's very basic sense of it. Whereas a father is going to want that competition, right? A father, and I was reading this, actually, I found a couple articles that talk about the history of parents. So it actually says here, so historically, this was off Premium Papers. It says mother and father roles in the family. And it basically says that historically, mothers provided the biological needs of their children, such as cooking their meals, keeping the home clean, and nurturing each individual personality. And so they were also the ones that taught right from wrong, instilled ideas of working as a team, and the idea of something bigger than you that you have to give thanks to. Whereas fathers instilled the idea of protecting and providing for the family's needs. And it was also the fathers that confirmed the gender of their kids through hard work for the sons and through love, through sweetness, and an affection for their daughters. I found another little article where it kind of says that the first role of masculinity, he is the grinding stone upon which his son sharpens his emerging masculinity, and the appreciative audience to which his daughter expresses her femininity. I thought that was said perfectly.
Okay. I mean, that's
how it
accurate.
historically, that's what it basically said historically has happened, right? Mm-hmm. So nowadays, right, the roles have changed a little bit, right? Now we see more fathers taking on kind of a maternal role and more mothers taking on of a paternal role, right? So this was from pewresearch.org. This was an article from 2013 called Modern Parenthood, where it's basically just citing that there's a lot more households where both parents are working, and that is usually due to economics, right? Right, the economy, they need to have that extra income in the household. But it did also state that the majority of fathers were more likely to want to work full-time versus most mothers want to work part-time. And it also talked about that the reason fathers want to work, they're seeking a job that's going to give them better pay so that they can provide more for their family, whereas mothers are going to seek jobs that are more flexible. And there were some numbers, kind of saying that like 42% of the public agree that moms should work part-time, while 33% felt that moms should be at home.
That sounds so interesting. Bottom line is this. It's neither.
Okay.
It's a dictatorship.
But a dictatorship is just a little few steps away from socialism or communism.
Yeah. So the dictatorship. Why can I go? Because I said so. That's why.
But that's part of the socialist idea, right? That
Look, definition of dictatorship is a form of government which is characterized by a leader or group of leaders. Therefore, a leader, daddy or mommy, or a group of leaders, both mommy and daddy, which holds government powers with few to no limitations on them. The leader.
I'm sorry, few to no limitations?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're losing me on that one. The question was just, could the patriarchy or the paternal figure in the household be considered more of a capitalist type of nurturer, right? Because they're trying to influence hard work, making it on your own. That type of capitalistic ideas is one might think.
Okay.
Right. Versus the maternal or matriarchy in the household, where she's trying to instill these ideas of equal opportunity. Right.
Yeah, that sounds like everything that's going on in the world right now.
I know, but
of all these damn kids that their parents told them they were very special and they're only childs, and they think that no, you can't talk to me like that because my mommy said I'm special. Well, and you had to cater to my needs and what I want, and now I want this, and if you don't listen to me, I'm going to throw a tantrum, and I'm going to throw myself on the floor and scream and cry, and maybe we'll get another group of people like me, and we'll start riots.
It's so funny because you say that, and I was actually listening to Jocko Willenick and Jordan Peterson.
Love Jocko.
And on YouTube, and there was one of the conversations they were having was about using praise and rewards carefully. And Dr. Jordan Peterson says that in the current model of self-esteem, every kid gets a trophy, right? It's every day is a trophy day.
Not
And
my
he says
kids.
that's like inflating the currency.
Okay.
He says, if everything is good, nothing is good. So I thought that was funny just that you mentioned that. And I happened to write down that quote that he had said in there.
Yeah, two people that actually are like when they speak, like they make sense. Like you can agree with it, what they're saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it
completely
makes
agree.
perfect sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and I get, and again, it was just a random question that, this is something that my brothers and I do all the time. We just throw out random things. I also later that day had a different type of conversation with my other brother, and his conversation was more about how people are extremely weak-minded and are led easily, versus how do I say it? I didn't really research that conversation so much because he was talking to our 14-year-old more than he was talking to me. But the gist of it was just he was just trying to let him know how important it is to speak facts and not get hung up on the emotion of a fact. So, and as I think our son was talking to him about how they have debates
But
in
see,
class.
on that aspect was like now everybody is emotional. Nobody can accept when they're wrong or they're being educated or somebody has like those facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can throw those facts at people, but nowadays, how do they get?
But isn't that also part of the difference between socialism and capitalism?
Yeah.
Because socialists are all, I don't remember what I was listening to, or someone was saying something about women being in power, right? And I'm a woman and I love being in power. But the commentary I heard was about how women are so emotional and lead with emotion and want everyone to feel good, right? And when we teach our boys that their feelings are important and that they should also feel good, that we're teaching them female traits.
Okay.
Those are traits that are inherent to women and how we function, not necessarily to the function of men. And that's not what helps men survive. Anyways.
So, but then you have the dads that are like trying to teach them to be men and talk to them like men, and then you have the mommy that jumps in and is like, "Don't talk to him like that, and why you have to put him down, and why you have to."
And that's why we have mama boys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then they tell their mommies everything, and they don't talk to their daddies.
That's true.
Yeah.
So. Are you trying to say that about our son? So he does make the comment that our son always talks to me about all these different things, but not to him.
No.
But why do you think that is? Is it because, and that was something else I had written down. Actually,
the
parenting styles.
Well, I mean, so like we always say it, and we said it in plenty of other episodes, like we both come from different backgrounds. Ethnically, we're both Hispanic, but you're talking about South America and North America. You're talking about, growing up in a religious household and non-religious, right? A broken home, family oriented, right? Mm-hmm. So we have different backgrounds. We have different ways of seeing things. We have different ways of approaching things. So I understand. And then, we always make that joke, like the firstborn boy, that's a woman's first true love, like, and only love, like nothing. You love all of them. I'm not saying that you don't, but, that was the first one, like you had this journey you're enjoying for so long. You guys have a connection. And he trusts you more. You're more approachable. You're like, yeah. When he comes to me, I have to be a man about it.
Yeah, because you're trying to teach him to deal with men.
Yeah, so if he comes to me like, what was that one comment you made? You said, and the heartbreaks or whatever. And he comes to me with, Dad, I broke up with this girl. I was like, so what? I was like, how long were you dating her? Like there's no reason.
Week?
Yeah, there's no reason for you to be crying about it. Like,
well, and then I found this article on fatherly.com actually. It's called oh my gosh, I can't even read my writing. Anyways, it was talking about moms and dads and their roles, right? The parental roles, the different parental roles between moms and dad. And it actually says that it says, in humans, mothers talk to their kids, use toys or objects for lessons and play, and support emotional growth. whereas fathers are more physical and spontaneous, not talkers. So
I'm sorry, I'm just cracking up because you're like talking about teaching them with action figures and shit. It's like, this is the girl and she bends over and the boy comes behind.
that's what you thought about.
And this is called doggy style.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. I would never do that. Oh gosh. And if there's, who knows, there might be mothers out there who do that, but that's horrible. I mean,
I'm sorry, my mind's in the gun.
Yeah.
I'm a Neanderthal. I'm sorry, people.
The other thing is that mothers are more likely to use baby talk with their kids, whereas fathers will be more direct. That only happens with sons, not with daughters, because you use baby talk with our 4-year-old all the time.
She's a baby. You just said it.
No, but I hate when she goes in her baby voice, and I'm always the one telling her, talk to me in your normal voice. And it also, this was interesting. It says mothers will point out the social cost of making mistakes, where dads will point out the physical, like jail time and the cost of making a mistake. So,
you know, it's funny that you're attacking my baby.
Why?
Because I'm going to point it out. When you talk on the phone with your dad, you got your baby voice.
I don't have a baby voice.
Hi, daddy. Like every girl does it. And it's fine. Girls are supposed to be daddy.
I don't notice it.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I'm on Only Girl.
But I do, yes. But it's still funny. And you're giving me crap about our 4-year-old. And you're like, oh, yeah, she talks with the baby voice.
But she talks like that all the time.
Because I'm around.
No, even when you're not here, she does the baby voice. And I have to remind her, okay, your dad's not here. I need you to talk in your normal voice. And she will. She'll change her voice.
You're lying. See, you choked up right there.
I didn't choke up. I was burping.
Yeah. Hey, you need to pick it up, though, because I'm already like on 4 cups, and you're still in the first one. And I'm about to kill this bottle.
I'm not an alcoholic like
I'm not an alcoholic either. What are you talking about?
I mean, you really enjoy wine. I don't enjoy wine that much.
No, that's a lie. How did edit that out of the podcast? That's a lie. I'm a man, baby.
There's a lot of men who like wine these days.
No, they're not.
My brother,
They're not.
I literally just sent him 3 bottles of wine for his birthday. And he just texted me today, sister, thank you for the birthday gift. It's delicious.
I mean, it does get you there fast. I'll give it credit. I mean, this is new to me, too. I'm just started this little journey of the... I mean, I barely ever drink alcohol, but it's enjoyable. This is good.
Your favorite alcohol is mead, though.
Mead.
Honey mead.
Yeah.
You love honey mead.
Nectar of the gods.
Yeah. Anyway, so, I mean, these are kind of some subjects that
they're interesting.
We talked on.
They're interesting.
They're just questions. It's not like...
It makes me think about a lot of things. I don't know if I want to like attack or I don't want to come across like more of an a-hole or kind of like primitive or sexist or
you don't want to come across that way.
No, not yet. We're barely on episode 11, right?
We're
no, 12.
on episode 12.
Episode 12. No, that's still. It's like it's barely a 12 date.
What were you telling me the other day that you're extremely sexist?
I can be.
You can be. Yes, you can be.
But you got to think about it too. Like, the way
I know
my background, the way I was raised. Most of my friends had their dads were, I don't know, maybe 20 years older than them. Mm-hmm. My dad was 40 years older than me when he had me. Right? My dad was 40 when I was born, so he's old school.
Yeah,
he's a macho man. And then growing up in construction sites with him when I was a kid, when I was summers, and hearing these conversations between him and his coworkers, like the stuff that they said there, like I'm surprised. Like nowadays, as those conversations happened, they'd probably be fired, locked up, locked away in a dungeon.
It definitely depends on the circle of people, but
yeah, but you know what I mean. Like a lot of the stuff, those subjects, those jokes, you can't make them anymore.
I know.
You can't talk about
harassment.
Exactly. It's this cancel culture. It's just so crazy.
Yeah.
And it's hard because that's how I was raised. They told me one thing. Like this is how it is. So that's why I say I was born in the wrong time because I mean, maybe that's another reason why I've become such an introvert, because it's just
to avoid confrontation with people.
I can't say nothing. I can't call people names or, if you they honk at you, and you want to call them a name. Next thing you know, it's like, oh.
Oh, well, like we had our dishwasher broken a while back.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you that the technician, I guess, called me to make sure we were home. And when I answered the phone, he was cursing and yelling at someone like, "Get out of the flipping road, and you need to watch what you're." He was road raging someone, and I hung up. And then he showed up like 10 minutes later, and I was like, "Were you okay there?" Like, kind of sounded like you were yelling at someone. He goes, "Oh," and he just started going off. But it was just, I mean, luckily he got me and not some other
Is
character.
that Santa Claus dude?
Yeah,
Is that
the Santa Claus dude.
Yeah.
Luckily he got me and not someone else,
Uncle
because
Jesse. That's
I'm
what he
sure
reminded me of. Uncle
somebody
Jesse.
else would have reported him, because that was really bad.
Yeah, Uncle Jesse. He reminded me of Uncle Jesse, the original Dukes of Hazzard Uncle
yeah.
Jesse. Yeah, now that I think about it.
But I understand, that you were raised a different way, because, my grandfather was very machista, and he, the stories I have of him and my grandmother were that, he would get home at any time of night. It could be midnight.
She'll fix him a plate.
And she would get up and make sure he got a plate. She would get up and make him dinner at midnight, and then if the stores were still open and he wanted something in particular, she would go out and buy it. I mean, lucky for them, there was like a little liquor store and carniceria right around the corner. Yeah. But, it just, and this was in LA, right? This is their life in the 50s and 60s in LA. And she was happy to do it, because she was raised with that mentality that a mother and a wife are there to serve and serve her husband and take care of her children. Right. Yeah. So that was the mentality she grew up in. So it was funny to me, because she was always she was a great grandma. She would do anything for us. She would do. I mean, other than make me go to mass with her every day, but she would do anything for us. She would make me champurrados from scratch and tamales and whatever milanesa. She would make me whatever I wanted, and because she was used to doing that for my grandpa, right? Mm-hmm. She was like, whatever grandpa wanted, she would make it, and so whatever I wanted, she would make it. But whereas on my mom's side of the family, right, my grandma ran the house, right? It was very much of a matriarchy, even though my grandfather was the captain of the police, right? And he ran the house to an extent. Ultimately, my grandma made all the decisions in that household, and she ran everybody the way she felt, their servants and everything the way she felt they needed to be run, including my mom, right? My mom didn't even learn to dress herself till she was 16 because of the control my grandma had over her, right? So two very different.
Yeah, see, but I mean, come on, 16, like.
Well, but that was the control my grandma had. That was like that matriarchal role that she played in her household.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
But that's what I'm saying. Two different worlds, right? And then they come and they meet and they have us. And my mom was a homemaker. My dad worked. And when we first had our 14-year-old, I was getting grief for going back to work because I wasn't staying home with him.
Yeah, but on that aspect, like, okay, so on certain things I'm very like macho wise, right? Like, because that's how I was raised and whatever. Not no, no, I was just saying, it sucked, but where we live, it's not the times that it was before. So times change. I did feel bad that you had to work. I felt like a failure as a man because I wanted to provide for you and our newborn baby. I wanted you to stay at home with him while, I worked and I was able to make things happen, right? But it wasn't, because we live in a state where, you need dual incomes in order to survive. The prices are ridiculous, and they've gotten worse with time. Yeah. And more people that are not from California staying here makes it even way worse.
But in a way, it is our own fault, because neither one of us was financially prepared for a family.
No one ever is. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, and I guess this goes back to the whole idea of people who wait to have kids, right? So people wait and wait. Okay, we'll have a kid when I have enough. When I got my career settled and I've got enough money saved up, or I'll have kids once I get married and we buy our house and all these different things. And then that time, the career gets going. The finances are awesome. They got a great relationship, and yet, and they have a home, and yet the child never comes, right? The baby never comes, because now all these other things have become more important, right? So even if they are financially secure and they are able to have a family, they now choose not to not lose all this that they've worked for.
Yeah, but you know, also on that note, you know, if you really think about it, we always said no kids. You know, we were told we couldn't.
We were
have
told
kids.
we couldn't have kids.
Right. So you know, we were like getting used to the idea of like what our life was going to be without having the kids.
Yeah,
right?
because we only had your girls that came over on the weekends.
Or if
they came over, yeah.
So we were like, okay, well, this is going to be our extent. And I remember you going through your emotions of like, you know, but it's not the same. They're only here for a little while. I'm never gonna.
But
get
it's
to
because
have
I
them.
wanted kids.
My way. Yeah.
At that point.
But at that point, because the girl started making you want to have kids,
yeah.
right? Because you saw like, oh, I would do this different. I would do that different, and then it happened. Mm-hmm. Like you said, we weren't ready for it. We weren't financially ready and everything.
No, we actually it was a complete accident because we were still planning our wedding.
But our mind, our way of thinking, our way of surviving, our way of approaching things, our way of trying to succeed. Mm-hmm. I was cruising by in life. I was just like, oh, you know, the bare minimum. I was trying to get out of the hole I was in.
Yeah, we both got in a hole because of our divorces.
Yeah. So I was helping you. You were helping. We were helping each other. We were a support group for each other, right?
Yeah.
And then we found out we were going to be parents. And then, you know, that made us click different. That made us, we got to think about this. We got to think about that. We need to do this. We need to do that. So I think that happens to a lot of people too. They say they don't want kids. They don't want it to be a part of their life. I want to enjoy my husband. I want to enjoy my wife. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. But the moment that child is coming into your life, or that moment that you hold them for the first time, it's like an inner beast inside of you is awakened. And there's like, you make those promises to that piece of you and that piece of your partner.
I think that's definitely true for men, for most men. Like the men who stick around, I think that's definitely true. But I mean, we've heard many times about women who go through the postpartum depression or even depressed during their pregnancy.
And it happens.
And
it's horrible. I remember you went through it, and I was like, wow, like they were different all 4 times.
I don't remember being.
Oh no, yeah, you know, I saw. One of them was not depression. One of them was anger. Like what?
Like I was angry while I was pregnant.
No, there was one afterwards that you were very short fused. Everything was, and that was our first one. There was a lot of things that I wanted this way. I wanted that way.
Well, okay, that's different. It's because I think that goes back to the whole expectation of when I finally do have kids, things are going to be a certain way. And like you said, you felt like a failure for not providing enough at that moment so that I could stay home. I think maybe I was angry.
Yeah.
I was angry at the fact that I had to go back to work. I was angry at the fact that we didn't own a house yet. I was angry at the fact that, the timing in my head.
But see, for me, man, that's the difference, man and women, right? Or at least in our case. For me, I was just more like, don't worry. Like,
yeah, you were always like, we'll make it happen. We'll make it work.
And I looked at him and I was like, nothing. I'm always going to be here. I'm never going to miss anything. I'm always going to be in your life and your mom's, and I'll take care of you guys. And, I'll even if I only sleep an hour a day, I'm going to try. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think I was most angry after our second one. Our whole life during that time was very different.
Well, yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I remember being angry. I was even angry. I'd get home angry, right?
Yeah,
even after going back to work.
Because we were going through a hard slump. I had that accident. I was, that ruined a lot of things that were going on. I was supposed to be in a wheelchair for 2 years, and I was having to, walk again and doing all this therapy and going to hospitals and everything, and that hurt the wallet, and bills and everything. So that made us put us in a survival mode on a different level. So there was a lot of reasons to be angry,
Yeah, I just remember being angry. I remember someone tried to give us a Chihuahua.
Yeah,
and the Chihuahua peed one time on the baby's blanket.
Yeah,
on our now 10-year-old, and that's it. Get rid of it. Yeah. I don't want it. No. Get rid of it. I don't need this. Because I was already done.
Yeah, because there was so much, and we were adding another thing to create more stress.
Yeah. Oh, I was just more mad that it peed on the baby's
for
blanket.
sure,
But, and again, I guess these are some of the reasons that women, remember I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one, but there was that lady that I had to share like the last couple hours
Second
of
one.
my room with. And you could just tell that she was one of those moms that didn't want kids.
Yeah.
The
She was
dad.
worried about her looks. She was worried about her breast. She was worried about all the random stuff instead of asking about the baby.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, we were sitting there together, packing up my things and just hearing her. And this now being our second child, I got really sad for that baby.
Yeah.
I was so sad because, I agree. If you don't want to have kids, don't have kids. Have them if you really want them. Because then you're going to, this is my opinion.
Yeah, I just look at them as a blessing. And I mean, everything
And
happens
many
for a
people
reason.
do. But there's lots of people who don't. Like,
Yeah.
for example, that lady, it just broke my heart and it was a little girl. They had a little girl, and
I don't remember what it was.
the dad was there, and she kept delegating everything. The dad, you take her, you do it. It's like, I don't want to touch her. Like, I was like, what the heck did you have a baby for then?
Yeah, I remember her. I remember I really wanted to get out of that room after that.
Yeah, we couldn't get out of there fast enough. So luckily, it was almost time to go. And so anyway, the just being fathers versus mothers, the roles that we play and wanting kids, people who don't want kids, and yeah.
I wanted a kid more than I wanted a wife.
The what?
I wanted a kid more than I wanted a wife.
I think there's lots of people who do that, right? Isn't that why some people just adopt or get pregnant even without being in a relationship?
No, that was a joke, babe. I was being silly. No.
No, isn't it? What's that movie? There's a movie about this. It's
Well,
like one of J-Lo's movies.
I don't know. But in my joke, it was not a good joke. I'm sorry. I apologize for that one. But for me, I always wanted a family. I was, I never had that. I had an extent of it. I got to see it from the outside, but, I never had it, so I always wanted it. So that's why I say it was like,
For
I
you,
look
it's a
forward to the
blessing.
grandkids. Yeah, or
I
a
don't
family
look forward to
growing.
grandkids.
I mean, not anytime soon. I mean, another 20 years maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. Yeah, not now. Not the next 5 years or the next 10 years.
Not
no.
even the next 10 years.
Yeah, no. Maybe after 10 years. No, man. Maybe
Probably
15 years.
24.
Yeah, 20 years from now, maybe. That includes the oldest one. That's already a grown up.
Oh, the 23-year-old?
Yeah.
You still don't want her to have kids for 10 more years?
Man. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we all have our different ways of parenting and seeing it. It's just, that was interesting, that point of view, that conversation you had with your brother. But like I said, it's cool that you guys have those conversations. Like I had said previously on another episode where I was attacked not knowing what I was talking about.
I didn't attack you.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's,
No, that's cool.
those are conversations I had with my brothers this week and conversations with our son, right?
No, we can obviously continue on this and keep going and talking about the kids and what we were going through and points of views and how moms are different than dads. Obviously, like you said, moms are supposed to be loving, caring, teaching them right or wrong.
There's lots of
and
moms that
sharing.
aren't, though.
Yeah, but that's
That all
usually
goes
what
back to
moms do.
psychosis.
Yeah, and then the dad is survival mode and what are you gonna do with this.
But the
But I
roles are
guess-
different these days.
Yeah, because everything's different. Everything's changed.
Is it a
Everybody's
detriment?
special.
Is it a detriment to society?
Well, yes, it is. Look at society how it is. That's what I keep on saying. Look at what's going on around us nowadays. I get it. Our children are beautiful and they're wonderful and we love them. We want to give them the best. And I keep on repeating myself with this thing. It's like, but sometimes they need to learn.
They need tough love.
Yeah, tough love is needed, especially nowadays.
I think another thing that Dr. Peterson had said was that I think he referenced one of his books, something about letting your kids skateboard and play parkour because they need to have that sense of being able to push themselves to the limit. And he also said something about like Aurora in the story of Sleeping Beauty, how she, her when Maleficent shows up to bestow that curse, right? The parents decide that the best way to protect her is to send her away and not prepare her or inform her of this evil, Right? And then by not informing her of this evil in the world and preparing her for it, the prophecy still comes true, because when she was finally faced with it, she didn't know how to handle it.
Fate is fate. Fate is fate.
Is it fate, or is it the fact that we as parents, we overprotect our kids? We have overprotected our kids to the point where now they don't know how to handle that fear.
Yeah.
All being a detriment to society.
I said it earlier. I mean, this is what happens when you give everybody a participation trophy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, and you're not the only one who says it. I mean,
mean,
there's lots of people out there who
It's the reason
agree.
why I don't allow them in the house.
Yeah, it's true. We do not allow our kids to have participation trophies. I mean, they get them and they get put away somewhere.
Yeah, they don't get displayed or anything because
they
like, cool, you did it. Awesome.
They didn't earn it.
Your participation trophy is that team picture that's up on the wall.
Yeah,
you know, like there it is. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you guys didn't win.
Yeah,
you didn't put forth the effort to make it happen.
It means more when you realize
work hard for it.
Yeah, I work hard for it,
and that's with everything, right? Yeah. And again, is that's a father thing, right? That's the role that historically fathers played in the lives of their children, and now when fathers are absent, that message isn't necessarily being conveyed to the children unless the mother takes on the role of both figures. And
believe me, there's a lot of women out there that do a great job.
Yeah, they do a great job.
They've created great men. I mean, you know, and as men, they've also learned what it meant for them to be, you know, have an absent father, so that they become.
But then there's also many who don't.
And
even if the mom tries.
Everybody has issues. Everybody has skeletons. Everybody has a way to deal with what has been put on their path of life.
And that comes back to personality.
It's who you are, how you look at it, and how you handle it, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you gotta embrace the suck. You know, suck it up, drive on, man. Nobody else, you don't want pity for nobody else. You gotta make it happen yourself.
Yeah.
Some people might come along and give you a hand and help you out, and some people might just step on you and spit on you a little bit more and make it harder. But when you get to that mountaintop, man, it feels good.
Yeah.
Especially to see those faces of the people that never believed in you. You know what? I just kind of remembered that when we were talking about earlier when I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
I think someone's had too much wine.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to slur a little bit and I'm a little too relaxed. I don't drink alcohol anymore, and so I think I'm not as a good alcohol drinker as I used to be.
I agree.
I mean, because I used to drink bottles before I got drunk, and maybe now it's one bottle, and I'm starting to get happy, or effects. But no, what I was gonna say when you were talking about when we had our first child, and then you felt bad about having to go back to work, and that your parents were, kind of judging you and telling you. It's funny that you say that because I remember now that I had seen a video, and it was a lady. I wish I could remember who she was, but she was talking about it doesn't matter when you're a woman what decision you make after having a child, because if you go back to work, how could you go back to work after having a child, right? But if you decide to stay home, is how can you stay home?
Yeah, you're damned if you do, damned if you
don't.
don't.
Yeah, and create more stress for your husband. Mm-hmm. Or why is your husband taking time off to help you with the baby? Are you not
capable?
Are you not capable? Are you not ready to be a mother? So it doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody that's going to judge you. That's mm-hmm. No matter what decision you make, it's the wrong one. And I don't know if it's part of human nature that people just do that sometimes. Like, oh, well, I'm getting married. Oh, I'll give it a year, or, oh, I'm having a kid. Yeah. But, yeah, and that aspect, I mean, we've only done that with people that we know, like.
Really well.
Yeah. And we're batting 100 for 100 here.
Yeah, I know. I mean, even if they do choose to stay together just to prove us wrong, but we know they shouldn't be together.
Yeah, it doesn't help when you go visit them and you see that they have separate rooms. Like,
yeah.
No mames. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, so it does, in a way, it did hurt me when I first heard you say that, because that was new to me. I don't recall your parents saying anything about that.
No, my mom always. My dad didn't make too big of a deal. You know, my mom definitely voiced her opinion all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, even your family. There were a couple times. I mean, not everybody. There's a couple times people are like, "Oh, you're gonna go back to work." Like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to work. Oh, and who's gonna take care of them when you're at work? Yeah, that was always the question. Who's gonna take care of them when you're at work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of my things that I always kind of been proud of about us, is that we always kind of figure it out and make it happen. Because I know that a lot of people are like, oh, well, my mom's going to take care of him, or, oh, I have an aunt, or I'm going to drop him off here, or, like people that help him out.
And
Like
we
that.
did have people who helped us out
Yeah, to a certain point.
to a certain point.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was. But yeah, some help is better than
Yeah.
no help. So
Yes.
definitely thankful. But compared to other people, I mean, there's a reason why we don't go on dates. There's a reason why we don't go on weekend trips. Because we can't because we don't have that help, that support, that humongous family where everybody can help out like that.
Also, because we have 4 kids.
No, but
it's harder to send them all somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, with our oldest, it's easier because it's the first one. So everybody with their first kid, everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to be around. Everybody wants to help out. Everybody wants to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's a community. It's a whole tribe trying to raise
Yeah.
a little cub. But you bring another little cub, or it all changes.
Especially
it's
if
like,
the cub's a little more difficult.
Yeah, I'll take that one. We leave the other one. But yeah, it's hard. But I mean, you know what I kind of noticed still on the subject too of how you're talking about mom's dad and everything, and we're talking about how different society is now and how children expect everything to be given to them and the tantrums and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I also noticed that it's like a only child syndrome.
That is, yeah, okay, so that was something else. Again, I've been listening to a lot of Dr. Peterson lately, and that is something else he touched on, that I guess one time he was asked, how many children should people have? And his response was basically more than one. He doesn't care if you have 2, 3, 4, 5, however many kids. He says having one child is the hardest thing because children entertain each other. I mean, this isn't what he said. This is what I understood from what he was saying. Basically, that if you only have one kid and you can't dedicate 100% of your time to that child, to nurturing them and playing with them and teaching them, then that child is not going to grow up to be a full-rounded person.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, like we said it. usually brothers or siblings become your first best friends, right?
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean, and you also learn responsibilities from being an older sibling,
mm-hmm.
right? And you also learn a lot from your older siblings too.
Yes.
So
that's what they say. Like moms who homeschool. I've heard this from different moms who homeschool. And they homeschool like a whole range of kids. And they're all learning the same subject, but at different levels. And the little ones learn faster, basically, than the older ones did because they're learning alongside with their older siblings.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, this is your baby, brother, sister. If they cry, just tap them here, or they want to be a part of it. They want to help out. So there's a social skill right there that they're already learning.
And that was something else that was touched on, is the importance of, if you have more than one child, making sure that you engage that eldest child to be part of the care for the younger child, to make them feel like this is their baby too, that they are also responsible for, in one sense or another. And I'm sure there's people who disagree with that idea, but the idea is to make them feel like they are all in this together.
Yeah, but imagine, right? Like you said, imagine you growing up by yourself. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't have the memories that you have. You don't have the experiences that you had.
I mean, but what they say, if what you didn't live, you're not going to miss, right? Because you didn't live it.
Yeah, but what you've lived. Now try to take that away. Where you don't think that was worth it. You don't think that your parents did the right choice by having more children?
Yeah, I love
More
my
companions
brothers.
for you? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of great memories growing up.
Even now, like I said, like you went on Wednesday to see your brother, and you had a great conversation that led to what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Talking about that stuff. We're touching. I mean, we're bouncing off the walls on different things, but it all comes down to that. That was the root cause right there of you having a conversation with one brother, and went later on in the evening. You saw another one, and he had a conversation with one of our kids that is also, two different spectrums, but it's still kind of like the same outcome of.
It all links.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think it's cool, like always. I think it's good because when you have one kid, they end up being spoiled. They end up being brats, little punks, snotty.
Unless you make an extreme effort to socialize them.
Yeah, but they just always seem to have a horrible attitude. Like they just always have to, like, because everybody, they're the only kid, right? So the whole world revolves around them. Grandparents, uncles, from both sides of the family, or whatever. They're like, oh yeah, the baby. It's like, it's that one only. Christmases are awesome to get gifts from everyone. Birthday gifts are the center of the attention. But you bring another sibling, you bring another kid, another little cousin, and everything. So that dynamic changes. Now it can either be competitive, or a team, or but it changes. And when you have a sibling, like you said, we're our oldest. He's helped us out with the four of them, right?
Yeah.
Like right now, they're not asleep.
All three of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're not asleep. They're watching TV. So he's like, "Oh, go ahead, Dad, Mom. Go record.
He's watching them.
I'll hang out with them. I was like, "Oh no, buddy, it's all right." It's like, "No, just do it now. It's cool, no problem."
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. But
Yeah, because he's old enough now to handle that responsibility.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, buddy, I'm gonna change your brother or your sister's diaper. Can you get me a diaper, please? Because I let them over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he used to run around with the little diaper caddy.
Yeah, he knows what's up. Yeah, I bought you the wipes too. And while I was at it, I remember you said earlier that they had a rash, so I got that little rash formula, the little paste too. Yeah. And it's like, wow, dude, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
It's like in a way, most people might think that they're losing part of their childhood, but then by that rule, then you shouldn't buy little dolls for little girls because they pretend that they're parents.
It's true. And they say that's important, that for children to emulate. In their play, children are supposed to emulate their environment. It's all part of the psychology behind their development. I mean,
is there anything else that you wanted to add on your notes there that we haven't touched? Or?
No, I think that was it. I mean, let me see.
Hey, in there, guys. Just give us a second here. We got our.
I did send you, I think, and my brothers the. One of the YouTube videos for Dr. Peterson where he says every parent needs to know this. And it was just a list of things. And you had told me that it's just like a compilation of different things that he's said over time. And maybe there's people out there who don't know who Dr. Peterson is.
Well, he's everywhere
or
now.
They don't like him.
Yeah.
But we like him.
I'm not a religious person, and I'm interested in watching this last thing that he has talking about religion. I'll be interested in to see what he has to say on that one. But you said something about earlier about skateboarding. I thought it was funny because
you won't let our kids skateboard.
Our oldest son, wants to skateboard, and yeah, that's when I was like, nope, not happening. Like, you're not gonna skateboard.
And why is that?
There's plenty of reasons for that, but yeah, I just kind of.
You've known too many people who have suffered severe injuries.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I tried skateboarding. I think I dislocated my wrist once. I sprained a couple of ankles, definitely a couple of scraped knees, lost a couple of teeth. So yeah, I mean, that was what 6-7 years skateboarding probably. Mm-hmm. Neighborhood. I was never really good at it. I was okay, but nowadays, I mean, it's also kind of like he's worried about appearances and looks, and he's talking about college and everything. And, there's certain stigmas that come with certain things. So, most of the times you see kids that are skateboarders, they're usually what? Like causing trouble, getting high, so it's kind of like, well, just know that, people are going to judge you. You worry too much about what people think.
He does. He really does.
Yeah. I mean, if you were more like me, like I could give a damn what people thought about me. I just did things
That's our
'cause I like
10-year-old.
them,
Our
you know?
10-year-old doesn't care what people think about him.
Then by all means, but I was just like, I don't want it can get expensive. It's fun. I'll let them try it.
What about parkour? Because he wanted to do
I
parkour.
never had a problem with parkour. They've been talking about that since they were kids, and they tried it every time they go to the parks and everything. I was like, all right, well,
Yeah, I remember one time they were trying to parkour off a bench. It was just hilarious to watch like 5 little boys like jumping on benches and jumping off benches. But yeah, he wanted to do parkour. I don't know if he still wants to at this age. I think right now he just wants to go back into something.
yeah.
He just wants a sport again.
Well,
Because
I
he's
find
been
it
out
funny
for-
because he's talking about his trip and
Yeah,
and
well,
not
and that's the
jeopardizing
thing
his
is,
grades. And,
yeah, he wants to go on that trip next year, and yeah, sports unfortunately will affect it, but I think he still wants an outlet, which is, I guess maybe that's why he's been teaching himself music, right? He's doing the guitar.
so damn good too.
Yeah, he's picking it fast. He's the
Yes.
piano and the guitar. He's doing so good.
Yeah.
Teaching himself, like, we are not giving him professional lessons. I think we've shown him the basics on how to do things, and he's just going off with it.
Otra copita?
Sure, I'll have a little bit more finally.
Excuse me, people, while I serve my wife
But
some energy juice.
but see, that's also a difference in personality, right? Because our 10-year-old doesn't care about any of that, right? He doesn't care about parkour or jiu-jitsu, or even though he did tell me the other day, super random, he's like, Mom, I kind of miss boxing. Like, he said he wanted to box with something or punch something. And I told him, there's a punching bag. Go punch the punching bag. So maybe that's something that we need to work on is setting up a little gym for the kids to.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
You have a punching bag that's just sitting in the garage.
No, I know.
And
why? Because I haven't had a chance to fix the stuff how I want it.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
I mean, you could just put the stand under the carport and put the punching bag there.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching to fix the car to get it out of the carport.
I think it still works in that one corner, like right in front of it. It could totally fit. Anyways, the kids are asking, oh, maybe I could, that little like speedball thing.
Yeah.
That I saw, is that expensive?
No.
Maybe I could just
I'll
get
him one of those.
One of those speedball things. He said he just wants to punch something, so
That's
I'm just
fine,
trying to think of something for him.
Punches his big brother. Those characters.
But he punches back.
Well, that's the beauty about fighting.
Yeah.
You learn, like we said. Oh,
I
got
know.
a duck.
I know.
I
I'm
got to
trying
move.
to protect him. It's just he punches so hard. 4-year difference.
So that's good. He'll pick some calluses, and whenever he gets in an actual fight, he'll be like, my brother hits harder.
Oh, didn't you? That just reminded me of lightsaber fights. Were you the one who sent me like the ideal relationship?
Yes.
So going back to our last episode where our 14-year-old is all down this Star Wars rabbit hole. And so my husband sends me some post about the ideal relationship, and it's, a guy and a girl fighting with lightsabers.
And the guy in the balcony recording them.
Yeah. And then, at the end they're hugging and kissing because it's just like they love each other. And so I showed that to my son, and he's like, yup, that is the ideal relationship.
Nerd.
I was like, well, then that means you need to start talking to the girls in class that are into these things. Not that he needs a girlfriend. He's only 14, but I thought it was just funny because he agreed.
Well, that's cool. On that last episode too, one of my buddies listened to it, and he was like, "You guys made me sound like a nerd." And I was like, no, buddy. It was just, just
no,
a
my
conversation.
family, you guys are a bunch of nerds. Like, I'm not saying your friends are nerds because I don't know what all they're into.
He also told me that I talk too much and I need to shut up because I have a horrible voice and yours is way better. So
He did. That's hilarious.
So I'll try to be more quiet next time, Eddie.
We're dropping names this episode. Horrible. Well, I don't know. What else do you want to say?
No, I guess.
Well, I guess that's it. I mean, is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to talk about? All right.
But all right. Well, thank you, my dear. That was awesome. It was an interesting conversation today.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, man. Maybe we'll add some more.
I don't know that we actually came to any conclusions. It's more like just ideas.
Yeah, talking about some point of view, something that you heard, something you talked about.
Yeah.
Was the outcome? I don't know how some of you guys might see it about, socialism or capitalism or dictatorship. How do you
within
run
the
your
household? Or how do you run your household? Yeah.
I mean, maybe you have a chain of command. I don't know. You have a sergeant, first sergeant, captain.
Like on the kids also watched real quick. Yours, Mine, and Ours.
Oh yeah.
The original was Lucille Ball.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh yeah. I think it's like the third time we watch it. We were just watching it in the car when we were waiting for our eldest to get out of school.
I like Steve Martin.
But we were watching that one, and so you're talking about chain of command, and of course it's a Navy family, and they've got all these kids, so everything is color coded and numbered, and kind of like a barrack. So
that movie's been made a couple of times, right? What am I thinking? Dennis Quaid.
Yes, the last one. I think that's the other version is the one with Dennis Quaid.
Is Steve Martin Cheaper by the Dozen?
Yes, Cheaper by the Dozen is Steve Martin.
Okay. So yeah. Dennis Quaid was the remake.
Dennis Quaid is the remake for
either one. They're good.
Yours, Mine, and Ours.
Yeah, I enjoyed them.
Yeah. Okay, well that was it.
All right.
Okay. All right, you guys have a great rest of your week.
And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Is that already this week?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Happy St. Patty's Day. Bye.